Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Tripp Smokepit. Tonight we got on a returning guest, economic ninja, direct descendant of Attila the Hun, the only person who both God and the devil go to for financial advice, and one of my oldest friends, Dave. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no. So before we went live, we were talking about you're reading the Alexander Hamilton book again, whichever. I mean, because it's kind of like the Bible. I don't think you read that all at once. It's like you go to this passage. What's up?
Yeah, I started reading it and I got 100 pages in, and then it was just so long, and then I just quit. But then as I've been doing this workout program and mindset program, and part of it is 10 pages of nonfiction reading a night. So I was like, if I'm going to do this program, I'm just going to start from the beginning. So that's what I've done, and right now I'm at page 59. So it's been pretty good.
Nice. Yeah. I still have not seen Hamilton, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, at least listen to the soundtrack." It's like, dude, what the fuck is the soundtrack gonna do if I haven't seen the fucking thing?
Yeah, no, I have actually seen it. It's an incredible show. It's what's really cool about it is I'm a hip hop head, so I love hip hop. It's one of my favorite genres of music. So, what was cool is what Lin-Manuel did was he was able to kind of take his upbringing in the Bronx and growing up in New York there, and kind of take some of Notorious B.I.G.'s lines and some of Nas's stuff and Jay-Z's, and basically blend that into historic poetry and then make music around that. And it's really incredible. It's a very skilled thing.
Yeah, fucking speaking of that, or speaking of hip hop, I guess, I went on a big kick a couple weeks ago because I was doing some wine paintings, and Snoop Dogg has a wine deal with, I think, 19 Crimes or something. So
it's a good wine.
Yeah, I was like, well, might as well listen to it while I'm painting it. I'm like, all right, this guy's all right, but while I'm here, let me go check out some other stuff. Okay, first off, I didn't know that Notorious B.I.G. and Biggie Smalls were the same guy. I always thought it was two different dudes. And then also I got down there, I'm like, yeah, this is okay, I guess. And then I started listening to Tupac. I'm like, yeah, dude, fuck Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, no, they're both incredible, in their own aspects. Tupac just had he could just tell had such passion in his music. He was so ahead of his time. I mean, he got gunned down at 24 years old.
Yeah, which is weird because that kind of goes against the 27 club.
Yeah, exactly. But to do all of what he did in life and be out of here by 24, incredible, really. But he just had he exuded so much passion in his lyrics and in his songs. So that's what makes him so good. And his dissing, he would just diss everybody.
Rabid dog. It's dude, stay away from that fucking guy, dude.
Yeah. But the thing about Biggie, what makes Biggie great in his own way, and I really don't have a favorite. I respect both of them in their own way. Yeah. But what makes Biggie so good is he's able to tell a story in his rhymes better, and to make you actually visualize.
Yeah.
Because he raps a little slow, so it's easier to follow. But he paints such a detail in his raps. I got a story to tell when he literally, and this is, I guess, is a true story. It came out because both of the guys are dead now. But I got a story to tell is about him meeting this chick at a nightclub in VIP, and then going back to her, he saw that she rolled up in a Mercedes S-Class.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's this chick? So he was like, I'm gonna go back with her. So he goes back to her penthouse or whatever in Manhattan, and her man comes home, and how she had money was she was married to Anthony Ant Mason of the New York Knicks, who was a center for the New York Knicks. So Biggie's literally in bed with his wife as he's entering his apartment.
Yeah.
And Biggie literally pulled a gun out on him and robbed him for $100,000. The dude just thought he tied the girl up and made it look like he was robbing the girl. And then he put the gun in dude's face, and dude was like, yo, I don't want any problems, like don't murder my wife, and then like got 100 racks and then just like left and called his boys up to like pick him up a couple blocks down the street.
Dude, that kind of reminds me. I knew a guy who fucking crashed his car fucking on the way home, fucking drinking, like fucking blitzed. And it was kind of like on a road where like nobody really was, because he's taking the back roads, you know, so he didn't get in trouble, ended up fucking getting in trouble. So what he did was he fucking like walked like 5 miles, got a fucking taxi home, and then the next morning called the cops, say, hey, my car got stolen. I can't find it.
Yep.
Like one of those like switcheroos.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen where like dudes are like out partying together and they've gotten in like a car crash with one another, and like they're like really good friends, and the dude like sues his best friend because he's like, dude, I ain't suing you, I'm suing the insurance, and then we'll go out and party on it. Like I'm like, wow, you know. But then like the other guy's like probably freaking out, like, dude, you sue me, my premium's gonna go up. Like,
don't worry, I'll give you a few grand. Fuck off, it'd be all right.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah, shameless stuff. Like,
yeah. Well, no, fucking what is it? Like, I know you're not on TikTok, but the guy that the Wolf of Wall Street, that movie was based off of, like
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, that dude's on there, and like his whole thing is like, all right, so back in the 80s, let me tell you this fucking crazy story. It's like, you survived natural selection. Good for you, man. Like, you should be dead. Like, every story is like, you should be dead.
Yeah, that dude's got an incredible story. You know what's funny is he is one of the biggest advocates for cryptocurrency regulation now.
Really?
Yeah, because he was like, look, he was like, the only thing that's like keeping this from like becoming like a huge industry and adopted by the mainstream is it's not regulated. It's the Wild West. He's like, this is more wild than like the penny stocks I was pimping out in the 80s and early 90s. So he was like, you know, if you regulate it and actually build this thing, he's like, this thing can change the world. So, you know, when Jordan Belfort's calling for like regulations to be put in place, it's like, okay, you probably should be regulated.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because like that's one of those things where it's like, you know, where my point of view on that kind of stuff is like, I think that regulation in the government should stay out of it unless it's beneficial to whatever it is. And I think a lot of the times it's better without the government. Sometimes it is better with it. But I don't know enough about like cryptocurrency to like really make an opinion about that.
Yeah. So it's a fine line, right? Because, you know, you have, you know, how basically how cryptocurrencies got born was because of some alias guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, you know, basically saw
Master Shredder.
Yeah. So like he basically saw that, you know, Lehman Brothers goes under and we bail out all these other banks, and instead of, you know, putting that money maybe in FDIC, bailing out people, giving stimulus to people to try to get out, and then let, you know, true capitalism take over and let these, you know, bad actors die out and let new companies emerge. That didn't happen in 2008. And it's caused a lot of problems, you know, and our monetary policy, you know, we started going trillions into debt to bail out the big banks. It started with the big banks, but what most people don't even realize right now is it's even expanded, you know, and it's expanded even more so now because of COVID. In July last year, you know, I see everybody complaining about inflation. You know, everybody's crying about inflation. But in like 2020, last year in July, both the Republicans and Democrats have signed by Trump, like they signed that CARES Act, and basically they authorized $9 trillion into the economy. Now we're seeing the effects of it, and that's why you're seeing prices just go through the roof. So like we're seeing, but these policies started back in 2010. You know, it started with the banks, and then the auto industry. We had to bail out, you know, Chrysler. We had to bail out GM. And
you know, I wonder where electric cars would be if we didn't bail them out. Like what Tesla would have done if we just said, all right, fucking Chrysler, eat it.
Yeah. You know, but here's the thing. If they would have done that, if they would have let the auto industry fail, if they would have let Chrysler go belly up and GM, I mean, you're talking about a 20 to 25 year economic depression in the Midwest, because there are literally like 4 million jobs from Chicago to Pittsburgh that depend on
what
the
a lot
auto industry.
Think about is like they think about like, all right, well, let's just shut. So what if a factory or a plant gets shut down? It's like, yeah, but there's also like all the transportation stuff that
Mm-hmm.
the truck drivers that have to drive the shit there that depend on that for a job. And then there's like a steel plant somewhere. I mean, most of them are overseas now, but in theory, there's also a steel plant somewhere building that. And then there's also the towns that pop up around these factories that weren't there before, that doing the service industry fucking thing. So like that's one of the things, one of the reasons that I'm not outright against or outright for like dismantling the military industrial complex. So like say we stop just making Abrams, just fucking like one model of fucking tank.
Mm-hmm.
That's 30,000 jobs fucking gone.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I mean, no matter what it is, it's something you got to ease into or out of. It's not just snap your fingers and do it thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just seeing, and I forget if it was like in Futurism or Visual Economist. Those are like great pages to follow if you just like infographics like on the economy, or like stories about like where economics and stuff like that are heading. One of the things that was like showing like the different waves of like industry, and then like it showed like the first wave. It was like steam. It was like lumber industries, and then it was like steam power, or it was like lumber and iron was like the first. Then it like merged into steam, and then it merged into like steel, and then automobiles, and like then it like got into like, and like right now we're in the like fourth wave, I think, or third wave, and it's like computers, like actual like the laptops, the phones, the gadgets, the circuits, the like you were saying, aerospace, and like that type of stuff is like where we're kind of at, but we're like fading out of that era, and now we're into like this whole new era, which is going to be like decentralized stuff and blockchains and artificial intelligence and stuff like that. And that's why we're seeing like the world kind of seems like it's on fire right now. It's because we're going through a future shock. We're going through one big wave, economic wave, of how society was modeled for 100 years is now changing into a new paradigm that most people don't understand what's going to come about. Yeah,
and a lot of people don't know how to metaphorically surf in that either.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like when it comes to cryptocurrency regulations, like going back to that, Nakamoto like writes this white paper, and it's like, look, they're printing out all this money to buy treasuries. We have this thing called quantitative easing. So it was basically the Federal Reserve was going to create more money and inflate the money supply, but in doing so, they were going to buy U.S. treasuries. That's how the program started out. So they were buying all the UST bills, and that's why you saw rates just drop to historically lows. Like, so having said that, so like they started out doing that, and then we bailed out. It came out that kind of spurred out of to try to stimulate the economy after we had bailed out Freddie and Fannie Mae, or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and then we bailed out the big banks, and then we bailed out the autos. So like that was around 2010 we started doing this quantitative easing as like a way to try to heat up the economy. It started helping out with like refinancing. They introduced the HART program that was helping people refinance their rate lower if they were underwater and things like that. So they put some things to try to stimulate it. And then, but what was happening is it was kind of becoming a K-shaped economic recovery since 2010. Yeah. And what that means is we are increasing the money supply. So we've had inflation in the economy. And, all the mainstream reports that you see on like CNBC or CNN about like the consumer price index, those are always completely wrong. They're always, tweaked to make it look like it's in a good thing. Yeah. But
I mean, that's the same way with like almost any friggin' stat. Like, I saw a thing not too terribly long ago, and they had an agenda with this, but they were seeing what percentage of Americans were still like not okay with like interracial marriage. But it was like did you define interracial marriage, or do you just mean like a white person and a black person? Like, if do you care if like an Asian person and a Mexican person get married? Also, like the sample size is like 100 dudes in Oregon.
Yeah, exactly. You can always tweak the statistics.
Yeah.
So, like all this was kind of spurred out of that, and we're seeing the money supply getting increased. So people are getting poor. You can't, and that's why that's why millennials feel like we can't buy houses. A lot of the millennials feel like they can't buy houses and things like that because prices are just the cost of living is just getting out of reach because prices are going up because the money supply is being inflated. And that's why they're going to keep interest rates low, because if you start raising rates up and you have higher prices, I mean, unless inflation gets out of hand, then you have to raise interest rates and restrict the money supply. But I just don't see that happening right now with like where the economy's going. I mean, what it will do and what could be a big possible scenario in 2022 is like a deflationary recession / depression, because, you've had stimulus and now you're pulling back all that stimulus. And if you raise rates because inflation's creeping in and the Federal Reserve realizes we can't control inflation, they're going to have to raise that rate, which would trigger a depression in 2022.
Which that's kind of a fucking dangerous thing right there, because there's two things going on with that. And dangerous on the world stage for, I guess, more than one reason. But the one I'm going to talk about is like fucking if we start spiraling like down, like after pulling out of Afghanistan and we don't have like money to fucking feed the beast anymore, there is a good way to guarantee fucking money and income. And then also you combine that with China's about to fucking collapse. But if they engage themselves in a war that they are not interested at the fuck all and even fucking winning, but it'll fucking fuel nationalism and stop the country from fucking falling apart, that could be a fucking thing too.
Yeah. And you're already seeing Xi's already trying to poke the bear, saying Taiwan's going to be part of one China. He's already gone there with what's going on. And he's just said that in the last 2 weeks after the whole thing, what's going on with the property bubble, and what's going on with the, there's a lot of different other debt price that's not even getting really talked about in the mainstream, but he's cracked down on Alibaba and all their big tech giants. So, he's really he's playing with fire. Really.
I'm of the mind now that the Chinese invasion of Taiwan is going to be the catalyst for World War III, because there's like 30 fucking countries that have said, hey, listen, you invade Taiwan, we're going to fucking invade you. Like, so I think India, like 2 months ago, was like, yeah, dude, we're on board with that. You stay the fuck out of there. And that wasn't so much of a yay Taiwan, but it's like we've kind of been butting heads for a while and we're looking for a reason to fucking come after you. So give us a fucking reason. So. Yeah,
that is, if I was a betting man right now, I would say the betting odds right now for an invasion of Taiwan could be low, but that definitely isn't like crazy to consider.
Well, no, because in 1914, the two biggest fucking economic powerhouses on the planet were Great Britain and Germany, and no one could imagine those two guys ever fucking going to war, because that would wreck the planet. And then some fucking Serbian fucking dude shot an Austrian dude, so like, now Englishmen have to go to France to fight the Germans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be a Chinese person or the Chinese invade Taiwan. So you as an American have to go to India to fight, fucking one of their fucking satellite states.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like China's got a lot of problems, and we'll definitely go down that path. So, but yeah, like that's what really how cryptocurrency started. But it's been the Wild West. It started out as kind of like a way for drug dealers to trade on like Silk Road, which was like an eBay of drugs.
Meet me on Snapchat. Fucking, I'll send you the location. Fucking.
Yeah. That kind of fun. So, it survived a lot of these things, but it's, it's definitely unregulated. People have gotten scammed. There was that whole Mt. Gox overseas. It was an overseas like cryptocurrency exchange. It took a bunch of people's money. And you're seeing scams still going on and now. And look, a lot of these coins, there's, I think, 900 cryptocurrencies right now. The majority of them are shit. The majority of them are complete junk, complete frauds.
Yeah, but it's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then like one other one. And then like besides that, it's like,
Well, there's a bunch of different projects that are going on that are really interesting. So you have Bitcoin, that's like your digital gold. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. So, people are buying like fractions of them and whatnot. And look, look what's going on with Ecuador. You're seeing countries adopting Bitcoin as their standard.
I didn't know that. Is that did you do that?
Yeah, because what's happening too is a big trend with all this money printing. In July, like I said, we printed 243 years worth of money in 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's never gone fucking south.
Yeah,
Ever.
exactly.
Ever.
So what's a side effect of what's happening with that is you're having all these other countries around the world getting crushed because their currencies are pegged to the dollar and the dollar's being debased. And so they're panicking. And the remittances are expensive. Western Union and MoneyGram and them, they have like a big monopoly on that type of stuff. So they're, they've jacked their fees because, cost of everything's going up. So they're trying to milk it.
What they thought about when like PayPal and Venmo came around.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's ate up a big chunk of their business. But like now, Ecuador's even going past that. So there's a new software bug that was added to the Bitcoin network called the Lightning Network. Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to help speed up the processing time to send Bitcoin. So like right now, if I send you a Bitcoin or send you like partial, part of a Bitcoin or pay you for one of your say I commission a painting from you and I pay you in Bitcoin. You set your price, say it's $1,200 painting. Yeah. You say, send me $1,200 worth of Bitcoin. You got it. Boom. I send it. It's still a slow process right now. And that's why what you're seeing with Bitcoin is most of the people that buy it are just holding it for like a long-term investment. There's not a lot of, I'm sending you Bitcoin, you're sending your friends Bitcoin, that kind of stuff. And so this Lightning Network is supposed to be in place to kind of help, speed up those transactions. Mm-hmm. And so what Venezuela's basically done is they've put Bitcoin ATMs all over the country. So now people can get their remittances. So if you have Ecuadorian Americans sending money back home, they're sending it through the Lightning Network.
Huh. Now, see, I guess there's two schools of thought you could go down with that. Like one, like if you're just holding on to it as kind of like an investment for later, that would be, I guess, one way to kind of like keep your money, kind of like how like a lot of people will buy gold, not because they think it's going to be worth more. They just want to keep their money in a physical fucking state where it's going to be. But the other way, what I'm doing is, I'm not like super rich, but I can buy a little bit of gold here and there. I'm not keeping that to keep my money. I'm keeping that so when the Anunnaki come back and need more of that gold for their fucking atmosphere, they eat me.
Yeah. It's one of the, that's the one thing is like, why is gold so valuable? And then you hear about the Sumerians and they're talking about how the gods needed gold particles to try to repair their atmosphere. It's like,
which when I first heard about that, I'm like, yeah, that kind of sounds like bullshit. But then like you take a little more of a deep dive into like all the shit you can actually use gold for, and it's like, that's kind of funny. That's weird. Because like it's a small amount. Like both gold and silver. It's a small amount, but like it's in everything. Like there's gold and silver in your fucking computer, your phone, and your TV. Like, granted, it might just be like a little bit of a fucking wire that connects like two fucking circuits together so they can communicate faster. But like, if that's what you need to do to like have a conversation with somebody across the fucking planet, like we're fucking a couple 100 miles away right now, and it's just with the fucking thing. And like, I've had conversations on here with people in Australia, and it's that fucking fast. So.
Yeah. It's crazy how the barriers, how barriers have been broken and stuff like that. And that's what you're seeing with cryptocurrencies. Like you're seeing like money being moved around the world at lightning instant speeds without the need of government looking in on it, without the need of these financial institutions, taking their big fees, or these, transfer systems taking huge cuts on the unbanked and stuff like that. There's billions and billions of people out there right now that don't even have access to a bank account or anything like that, or don't even have financial literacy, and it's making people poorer. And that's why you're seeing, because the rich right now, people think, oh, the rich have 20 million and it's in the bank. It's not in the bank. Yeah. It's in companies, it's in real estate, it's in different things. And what's been happening is they keep buying more assets because they realize that they're printing more money, so the assets are going to naturally go up. And
right, like a property somewhere, like that's always going to be worth X amount of bread.
Yeah, because there's only so much property on the world, and if climate change is as real as they're saying there's going to be less property.
Yeah, unless that day after tomorrow shit fucking happens where like it desalinates the oceans and then like everything freezes over and then like Greenland is part of Europe again.
Yeah.
Which that's another fucking funny thing, because like back during the Ice Age, like 10,000 years ago, like not long ago, like England was part of the mainland and like it was all fucking land there, and then ice caps melted and then rose.
Yeah. And so, but with what's happening too is like this like with cryptocurrency and like blockchain, it's literally going to change everything. Think about this. Right now with Uber, you have a centralized authority that, if I need a ride, I have to, log into my Uber app. It sends a ping to their servers, who then pings it down to a driver. Uber then takes 20% of that. In the future, there'll be what they call decentralized autonomous organizations. And those are essentially AI code. And we'll all be basically kind of like gig workers, but you'll get more money out of it. So basically, if you're wanting to drive in the future through a DAO, you'll be able to post and say, hey, I'm ready to pick up people or whatever. And you'll be able to directly connect with drivers without the need of an Uber or a Lyft. And then you get to keep the majority of the money, and you might have to send out a processing fee of like 5% to the blockchain, so that way the people that keep the blockchain going and that can get rewarded and staked out for that maintenance. But a lot of that's going to be done through AI code, where it's going to be pretty self-sufficient and
cutting out the middleman.
It's going to cut out a lot of these middlemen and things like that. And that's why you're seeing like Ethereum is essentially like a decentralized AWS. It's a decentralized Amazon Web Service, basically around the entire globe. Yeah. Can never get hacked into because there's so many nodes around that you can't take it down. You can take one computer down, you can take multiple computers down, but it's completely around the globe. So
it wasn't that the plot of one of the later Terminator movies where Skynet wasn't like its own computer somewhere, it was just on the internet. And then
it's basically what blockchain is. It's basically what cryptocurrency. But you're basically going to see one of the greatest wealth creation opportunities of all time with crypto. I'm serious. Like there are it is seriously going to go to the moon because of how much new technology this is going to pave the way for. And think about this: your computer, you're online right now, and they're hacking into your data, and they're invading everybody's privacy as right now as we speak. How about in the future with blockchains, it'll be possible. All your data is private. If you want to let it out for advertisements or whatever, guess what? You're going to get compensated for it. There'll be how it'll work on the blockchain is you can open that up, and then as companies pay for that advertising, you're going to get a cut of it. And, there's going to be also things where excess computing power, like as your computer's asleep, you'll be able to bundle that up, and you can either that'll be tokenized and sent out on blockchain, and you can either use that as extra income. You could use that as like a charity donation. You could, however you want to use it. You could trade it out for another cryptocurrency, what have you.
Yeah, no, and like the thing is about them mining your information for selling for advertising stuff is like it's scary fucking accurate. Like to the point where like not since like COVID, because like movies haven't really been a fucking thing much. But I remember I'd see ads for movies, and then once I saw the movie, like I wouldn't see ads for it anymore. And it's like, what's that about? How do you know I went to go see that?
Yeah, no, because they know. And They know everything about you and that, and you're seeing these whistleblowers come out with Facebook and stuff like that. And you're seeing what you're seeing right now is these Web 2.0 companies, your FANG stocks, your Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, what have you, Apple, Alphabet is what Google is, I guess. But these FANG stocks, like, they're all the Web 2.0. What cryptocurrency really is Web 3.0. And all these companies are getting ready to be set for a huge wave of disruption. And it's going to, like I said, be one of the greatest wealth creations. So what I would implore anybody is, don't gamble the farm. Don't do anything crazy and bet the whole house on this, but pay attention to this market. Start studying it. Start trying to learn some of the concepts, because once these regulations come forward, and that's kind of what I can't really go into details of what I do on my day-to-day job, but that's kind of what I'm working on right now is with a team, is like, how do we build out these, how do we build out these regulations and how do they look? Because we still need to, the goal is how do we bring in more people into the market? How does this thing become more global? How do we lift, billions of people out of poverty and allow them to have access to a more fair financial institution that allow them to, say a guy in Africa has a great shop or a great idea. He can launch an online business now without the need of a bank account, or, all he needs is a cell phone with an internet connection. And with them, Elon Musk and all them building all those satellites to get internet access around the world. Once that happens and you have the emergence of these new technologies, you're talking about a huge wave you've never seen, because you're going to have so many more people accessing these markets with new ideas and fresh ideas and information flowing like you've never seen before.
So pretty much the exact opposite of prepping for the Y2K bug.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping what we'll eventually see with, like I said, with the emergence of DAOs and stuff, there's a lot of work to be done. And to be honest, right now, we're only in the third inning. So having said that, not even, like, we're in the very, very early stages.
One of the things that people think, though, and this is like pretty much related to everything, is they think that like the present is like here, like this is where it is. This is where we're getting. And it's like, nah, dude, we're just on the road to the next fucking thing. Like when, say, World War II ended, like, yeah, World War II is over, but 1945 wasn't like where it was at. That was just on the way to whatever's next. Yeah. And like, right now, yeah, we're in 2021. This is now, but now isn't it. It's just a step on the way to whatever's next.
Yeah.
Ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah. It's like time, we're only here on, like, we're really only here on this planet for like just blips. It's really crazy. And if you think about like it's kind of scary to even think about like how life would look if you were able to take a time machine and like really just have like a movie theater. You walk into a movie theater and you get to like watch how it all like formed and like what really happened with all of it. It would be mind blowing.
If the history of this universe's time was condensed down to 24 hours, like fucking midnight last night was the Big Bang, and midnight tonight is like right now. Like, human beings have only existed for 8 seconds or some shit.
That we know of. Should I tell the audience, because I did tease it? Did I see a Bigfoot in Maine?
Did you see Bigfoot?
No, I didn't.
I mean, because that's not a country, but like I wouldn't.
I did hear one weird noise. I mean, it could. I don't know really what like all the noises that moose make. So maybe it could have been like a moose like miles away. I did not even see a moose.
Yeah. Although, did I tell you that I had to stop not believing in Bigfoot?
Really?
Yeah, and like I don't believe in Bigfoot, but I don't not believe in the possibility of Bigfoot. So for thousands of fucking years, well, not thousands and thousands, but human history-ish, there be all these stories of these dudes from the Mediterranean, like Greece, Rome, even fucking Persia, going down into fucking Nubia, which was the country region under Egypt.
Yep.
And you see these fucking hairy ape men, fucking wild fucking men. And like, it was kind of like a Bigfoot type story that was around for thousands of fucking, like, ancient Greek writings are talking about this. And other people are like, yeah, he saw fucking, they have a name for it, but like, yeah, he saw Bigfoot, fucking whack job. And then in like 1910, we discovered gorillas.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we didn't know fucking gorillas existed until about 100 years ago, fuck it, there might be something in fucking Canada, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah. You know, who really knows? I mean, there's parts of the world that we have not even barely even explored, you know what I mean? So it's like, who really knows what's out there? And if they have any sort of intelligence like us, and they know that they would be, and maybe they've seen what we've done to ourselves as a society or as a world, and maybe they're like, you know what, if we get spotted, they're going to try to kill us all. And so maybe they just know how to be super elusive, and you know, who knows? I
mean, it could be. I mean, like, fucking, you know, we like to, you know, call the other apes, you know, dumb fucking monkeys, but like chimps and bonobos are both in the Stone Age. Like, they're using tools, and like, they're not making fire yet that I know of, but they're like making fucking like fishing spears and shit, like with a rock and sharpening it to go.
I mean, who's to say in 150,000 years that we don't have a real life Planet of the Apes scenario?
Yeah. I just hope the Statue of Liberty is still around so somebody can swear at it. Fucking turned out Yuri Gagarin did not get killed on reentry. Fucking he got shot somewhere else. Has been missing in fucking action. It's only been 8 seconds for him so far. He's still freaking out because the instrument. What? He comes back like, "Привет! Oh, блядь! It's been no. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so that's the thing too. And I mean, one of the other reasons why you're seeing a massive adoption of these cryptocurrencies and like all this different stuff, going back to this topic, is because the world economy is screwed. I mean, you see this massive de-dollarization happening because we're printing our dollar to nothing, and China, like, this kind of like a segue, I guess, into the China stuff. But China is screwed, and you know, if you are somebody in the outside world and you're looking at de-dollarization, you're like, all right, the dollar's screwed, but China's even more screwed, and they're like the two powers, and the euro's screwed because, you know, they have a ton of problems. And who's to even say if the euro's around by 2030? I don't think it will be. But you know, with all those different scenarios, if you're thinking like, there's got to be something for yield and somewhere that I got to put my money, because if I hold my dollars, I'm just going to be poor.
Yeah, speaking of fucking like insane inflation, just kind of like a side story anecdote or whatever. Like, you know, the Weimar Republic, you know, they fucking printed fucking money that it was cheaper to just burn money than buy wood. That shit is still so fucking worthless. I bought, I think, off eBay, like, I think I got like 3 trillion Reichsmarks for like $5, and I was like, yeah, why not? You know, still to this day, it's fucking worthless. I mean, the art's cool on it, so I got like the bundle of all the different shit. So, oh, that's neat. That's neat. You know, kind of look like looking at the old like currency art, you know, of it. But nah, fucking high inflation does not fucking lead anywhere good, and hyperinflation's fucking so bad. 100 years later, it's like this caused a war, and it's worth fucking 10 of them worth a penny.
Yeah. Well, it's like, have you seen Zimbabwe? They got like the $10 trillion dollar or something, or like the $10 trillion bill, or a $10 billion bill or something like that.
For them.
Yeah. It's like, wow, your currency is now, you have $10 billion bills just like circulating. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well, one of the other things that goes into that, though, is not so much inflation, but like how money works in general, I guess, is I think China, Venezuela, and Iran are the only countries that don't exclusively trade oil in dollars. And the way that works, it isn't like, you know, fucking, you know, say Japan can just like give them a bunch of yen and to Saudi Arabia, and, you know, they like translate the money or whatever. And
no, they have to send them dollars.
Yeah, they have to send them dollars, which is why you can buy Toyotas in America cheaper than you can in Japan, because they have to sell us shit to get dollars to take it to fucking Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
There's none of that bank transfer fucking. What's the word for that? I'm fucking blanking right now.
Petrodollar.
No, not the petrodollar, but like if I take like 20 euros to a fucking bank and they give me
foreign exchange.
That's it.
Yeah, FX. Yeah, so like the FX markets are screwed.
Yeah.
The bond markets are been subsidized. So going back to that quantitative easing point real quick, what has happened now is they've literally, to bail out these companies, they've literally now just done it through the bond market. And so what you're having right now is the Fed literally inflating the money supply to buy up to refinance basically the S&P 500's bonds. Because people don't realize this, 100 of the 500 S&P companies are bankrupt. I mean, we're talking the likes of Ford. We're talking the likes of Macy's. We're talking the likes of Marriott. Like, talking huge companies that employ millions of people.
Yeah, you're talking. If 20 years ago you told me Kmart and Sears wouldn't be around, I'd be like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. And so what you have right now is you have 100 companies of the largest employers in America, and they're getting literally subsidized out of bankruptcy. The only reason why they're not filing for bankruptcy is because our Federal Reserve is basically subsidizing them with the bonds.
Yeah, and what's fucked up is we're also doing that with fucking farmers and shit. So it's like that's also like not just like that dumb bullshit you got extra money to spend on, so you go to the fucking mall. It's like no, food too, buddy.
Yeah, all of that, and well, people don't even realize this. The amount of money they were spending during this whole trade war with China, and the farmers were really getting like crushed during all that. We spent 4 times the amount of money we spent on bailing out the automakers on the farmers.
Yeah,
during in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and it's weird too because like there are some good things I guess that come out of that. The case I'm going to point to is like before like 1950, pound for pound, beef and chicken were the same price, and then we figured out a way to fucking I guess farm chickens more efficiently. We're pumping them up, pretty much making them fucking Frankenstein fucking cluckers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But now you can get like a fully made fucking like rotisserie fucking chicken for $2 fucking, as to where in 1950 that would be, just for inflation, like 15 fucking bucks.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Actually, I just saw the Department of Justice is launching a monopoly investigation on big chicken.
Well, what is it? Purdue owns fucking I think Kansas or Nebraska, but like it might be both. But like one of those states, like there aren't small farms anymore. Like Purdue owns, or maybe it's Tyson. It might be Tyson. I think it's
Tyson. What? Well, it's Purdue, Tyson, are the big two, and Pilgrim's Pride.
Yeah,
it's those 3. Oh, and Gerber here in Ohio. Gerber owns Gerber and Case Farms and all them. Like they're the ones that own up Ohio for sure. But yeah, so there's like a big investigation. In fact, most people don't realize this, but you know how Costco has like those dollar rotisserie chickens as part of like their deal to like, keep it in. Well, this chicken cartel was jacking the prices up on Costco so much. Costco was like, all right, well, fuck you guys. We're going to build our own. And so they built this massive, it's like the largest chicken farm in the United States in Nebraska. So like Costco's built their own chicken part. So that way they can keep their prices there. So they lose money on it.
They don't have to like buy it from a third party.
Yeah. Well, that and too, it keeps them because it is a loss for them.
Yeah.
They lose
if you come in there to buy $1 chicken, you're going to spend $50 on something the fuck else and make it up for it.
Exactly.
Walmart, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I know they did that for a while where they'd come in and drop their prices down to where like, they're selling everything at a loss, but it puts everyone else around them out of fucking business. And then once there's no mom and pop fucking shops left over, they can slowly raise them back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a fucking weird fucking thing too that kind of pisses me off because like I don't know if you remember, but like I remember when I was a kid, like everything at Walmart had a "Made in the USA" sticker on it.
Mm-hmm.
None of that anymore. No,
actually, now it's funny because to compete with Amazon, they're now going back upstream and they're buying more like they're offering more premium stuff. Because like my wife, for her work when she was still working downtown, she loved this brand called ModCloth, and my wife hates Walmart. Like she refuses to shop at Walmart if she can. Like it is the absolute last resort for her. She is a Target person, what have you. I don't really have a care in the world, so I just let her do her thing. But ModCloth got bought out by Walmart, and she was like, "Nope, not even buying it."
Sucks. No, and like that's an interesting conundrum too, because like say like there's some company that you have some quarrel with, and you're like, all right, well, I'm not going to shop there anymore because it's fucking evil, fucking giant corporation or whatever. But it's like your other options are also corporations that are doing the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think it's funny when people on the internet are like, I'm going to boycott this place and go to this place instead. It's like, yo, dude, like, where they get their fucking shit, right? Like, you're not doing anybody any favors besides being self-righteous going to here or there. But I mean,
well, you know what's crazy though is now Walmart, in an effort to like compete with like what Amazon's been doing and like to keep like their talent and stuff, they're now like offering college. They're like offering like tuition assistance and like all that stuff, and like trying to like groom their employees for like something better, like beyond like to transition a big part of their workforce out of Walmart or to make them move up into the company. So it's crazy now. And Walmart actually offers higher wages and better working conditions than Amazon.
Yeah, no. For the listeners at home, there's this thing called Sheets. It's kind of like a Wawa or a Rutter's if you're from the East Coast. But imagine
Sheets is great.
What's there's a big one in Texas, like Buggies,
yeah, or Buckos, isn't it with the beaver?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But and I don't know about Bucky's or Wawa or Rutter's, but I do know that Sheets is like, hey, listen, fucking, you just want to be the guy fucking working the cash register? Yeah, we're going to give you fucking 30 hours a week, but here's $15 an hour, and then like if you work here for 3 months, we'll 100% your fucking tuition. And I don't know, there might be some stipulations where like after you do that, like you have to like stop working at the gas station and go to the fucking like regional headquarters or some shit. But I mean, fuck it, dude. If you can work at a gas station and get your fucking college tuition, like with the company paying for it, not you busting your ass to fucking do it, like why not, man? I mean, at that point, if those are your motivations, that's better than joining the fucking military. I mean, I mean, like I'm on the side of that where it's like, hey, listen, if you're joining the military for your college, you're doing it for the fucking wrong reasons. Fucking go somewhere the fuck else. But I mean, for the longest time, that was like the only like option like that.
Yeah.
So
you just tell those guys to join the Air Force, right? I mean, I don't know. I didn't serve, so I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Yeah, no. Fucking if you're joining the military for fucking school and you don't want to do anything, you just want to sit there, collect a paycheck, and get an education, join the fucking Air Force. Otherwise, maybe join the Navy and make sure you're an MOS that's on a ship. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck while you're there, but it's like, yeah, it sucks for a month and they get a week off in Hong Kong. Well, that's not a good thing anymore. You get a week off in Singapore, fucking
there you go.
For a month. You get a week off in fucking Bahrain or Cambodia or where the fuck ever,
Yeah. How many countries did you actually like see? 15
or 16. First one was South Korea. I was in North Korea for 4 seconds.
Okay. I remember your South Korea trip.
Yeah.
I remember that was your first one.
Yeah, but I was at the DMZ and fucking dumbass 19-year-old. I'm like, I'm gonna jump over this fucking line. Fuck it. Almost caused an international incident. Got in a lot of trouble for that. But then let's see, what do we do? Germany, Kyrgyzstan, Afghan, Kuwait, Portugal, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Bahrain, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. I'm missing a few. Like I've also seen Egypt. Haven't been on the boat. Same thing with Guam. Seen it. Haven't put my feet down on it. But
okay, dude, I want to get to Egypt. I want to see this. I have to see the Great Pyramids sometime in my life now.
Yeah, I imagine that's like I haven't been there, but I know a lot of people. Everyone I know who has seen the pyramids has a similar story to like astronauts when they come back from space the first time, like, so I used to be a hardcore atheist, and now I believe in God, like level of life-changing fucking event.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy because what sucks for them is like, I guess like the country finally like eased up, like calmed down as far as like the whole. Remember, there was like that revolution, and then they like sent Mubarak to like Saudi Arabia. Yeah, the Arab Spring. Yeah. So like I guess like all that started finally like calming down, and like people could like travel safely to the Sphinx again, and then COVID hit.
Yeah, you know what triggered that though? Like the whole Arab Spring thing. That's our doing.
Yeah, that was CIA.
No, not even that. Fucking like yeah, I'm sure there was that some CIA fucking covert fucking element to it, but the big thing that happened with that is you had all these people in these countries that are keeping everybody down, preventing people from fucking doing shit, and then we invade Iraq, and they're like, let's go fight the Americans, and then we killed them all. So, because like. In Iraq, like there were a lot of fighting Iraqis or local insurgents and shit, but there was also a fuck ton of people coming from other countries to fight the holy war against the great Satan, and we shot them in the face because you say what you want about America, you don't fucking like buck up, and we unalived a lot of motherfuckers. So places like fucking Egypt, Lebanon, fucking Syria, all the people that would have stopped that kind of revolution fucking weren't around anymore.
Oh wow, yeah. I've always heard it was like through Twitter, and like there was like some sort of possible CIA.
Oh no, I can't imagine there wouldn't be, but
yeah, because
it benefits us for that region to not be fucking stabilized. Like back to the petrodollar fucking thing, where that comes from, I forget the name of the treaty. It's if you just like Google petrodollar treaty, like it's like the first or second fucking hit. But where that comes from with Saudi Arabia is them and all the companies they own, exclusively trade oil in dollars. And for our part of that, we don't let Israel attack them.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Saudi Arabia fucking said, you know what, America, fuck you, we wouldn't have to invade them. We could be like, hey, Israel, do your fucking thing. And Israel doesn't do that thing that we do where we pretend to care about the UN.
Yeah.
Like we don't pretend to. They don't even pretend to.
Yeah.
So like good luck with them doing a Holocaust on you.
Mm-hmm. But I don't, and that's the thing though. I don't see, and that's the thing, with MBS, after the whole Khashoggi thing, after there was no punishment, like, they're not gonna fold on us, especially after we let, of course, the media was outraged, and they should be. I mean, it was a heinous act. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But, like, he knew that there was going to be no repercussions. He knew that there would be outrage, and then,
Oh, no. CNN's going to be mad at me. I'm going to go cry on my yacht that's the size of a fucking aircraft carrier with my fucking harem.
Dude, did you see that Joe Rogan's Dr. Sanjay Gupta interview? Did you hear about that?
Was he the CNN guy?
Yeah, so he's the doctor on CNN, and he went on Joe Rogan's podcast.
I only saw the clip where he's like, "Yeah, no, the whole thing was bullshit," but I was like, I need to go watch the rest of this.
Yeah,
I don't know everything, so I don't want to make like a big opinion on it. But
but like,
me on.
Oh well, the funniest thing about it is like. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is getting eviscerated for this. They're like, why would you go on Joe Rogan? And they're like, why do you entertain the crazies? And it's like, dude, CNN can't even draw 1 million viewers for their show. Joe Rogan literally has 24 million people listen to his podcast per episode.
Yeah.
Every episode, 24 million. And you can't even get 1 million to even watch Chris fucking Como at prime time.
Well, see, the other thing with that, though, too, and it's easy to point the finger at CNN because they're like the biggest one, but like both them and the fucking government with all this like fake news, misinformation, fucking bullshit is like you wouldn't have to worry about misinformation if you told us the truth the fucking first time.
Yeah.
It would have been simple as that, but like you ruined your own credibility. Like I'm not distrusting you because of what someone else said. I'm distrusting you because you told me this red thing was blue and then showed me the red thing,
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And then like And then CNN comes out with that this is an apple. If somebody tells you it's a banana, this is wrong. Like that they literally ran that commercial for a while. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, and then they bring out Brian Stelter and he's like their little mop, and then he like tries to clean up their mess. And it's just, they continuously have egg on their face. I don't know how you can take any of these people credit. And it's just like, MSNBC.
Yeah.
MSNBC, they're literally like, they have all the Bush era people, all the neocons now on their primetime lineup for the most part. It's, it's absolutely insane because they're the never Trumpers. So they're trying to get that, the never Trump Republicans that quit watching Fox News after, Tucker. Dude,
the other fucking thing too is like they don't even believe their own fucking shit as far as like say like the reporters fucking go, because like there'll be people all the fucking time that leave Fox News and go to CNN or leave CNN and go to fucking fuck, what the fuck was her name? The blonde chick, Megan
Kelly.
Yeah, no, she was whatever the fuck she's on now. She used to be on Fox, and then she was on CNN, and then like now she's on ABC, I think.
Well, she so what happened was she left Fox to go to NBC, and she got like a $70 million contract.
Yeah,
and they were like gonna put her on like with Katie Couric or some stuff. I don't know. And then like Katie Couric like wasn't feeling that, and there's like,
did you hear that shit about Katie Couric that came out about RGB fucking this week?
No.
Fucking she did an interview with Ruth Bader Ginsburg before she fucking died, and she asked her what she thought about the whole Colin Kaepernick fucking thing, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was like, yeah, listen, I understand that he has the right to do that, but I think he's a fucking idiot for doing it. And then Katie Couric was like, we're not gonna put that in the fucking interview. And like it came out this week that like Ruth Bader Ginsburg called Colin Kaepernick a fucking idiot. It's like, and then you didn't run that. Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I did not see that. Well, and it's just like, this whole thing with John Gruden, again, his emails were horrible. And it's like, do these old whites, like, do they literally like just treat email as like talking to their friend? Like some of the stuff that he was saying was like off the chain. He called Roger Goodell a faggot, like quote, like that is an actual quote. He called the NFL commissioner that word, and it's like in an email. And then the NFL. So like how all this started, I don't know if you heard about like how all this like came about. So it's a crazy story within itself, really. So basically, the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins.
Wait, do they have a name, or are they just like the formerly known as the Redskins?
They are just the football team right now. They are supposed to have a name by next season, supposedly.
Like the Wagon Burners? I mean, like, why not?
I don't know. I really don't know. There rumor is like it might be the Red Wolves. Who knows? So, and then like their stadium, I don't know if you saw week 1 at their stadium, bunch of poop water broke and like got on like.
And I've been there. That used to be a nice stadium, but I haven't been there in fucking 15 years, so I don't fucking know. But
yeah, so there was a pipe burst. And it hit like in the luxury suite. So like all these rich people literally just got shit water dumped all over them. So that was like first week for them. Then like they had all this controversy. They went to the football team last year and they're like trying to clean up this team.
Yeah.
And what happened is like the NFL launched an investigation into this because like some of the owners have sued the one owner. Like this thing is a complete dumpster fire. I thought the Browns were a dumpster fire like a couple years ago. This is
too bad we're not talking about Baltimore, so I can make the joke wall. I mean,
yeah. So, anyways, they launched this investigation into Bruce Allen is his name. He was like the president of the Washington, formerly known as Redskins. And after they fired him is when they changed the team and they were like, hey, we're gonna make this right. A bunch of people had to resign. So what they were doing, part of the things that Bruce Allen has been accused of is he might have human trafficked a few Washington Redskins cheerleaders.
That's fun.
With like some high paying season ticket holders. Like he basically, they would go out on dates with these guys, like in the Caribbean or whatever, with the football team as part of like a cruise.
Also, real quick break on that. Like, why the fuck does not anybody give a fuck about human trafficking? Like nobody seems to give a fuck about it.
Yeah, it's
just a little bit weird to me, you know.
No, it is. You would think too. It is in a way. We like banks now. I take this back. Actually, the one, if you want to say good thing about the whole after this whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff, is it has brought a huge light to that. And actually now there's software within banks to try to start picking up on human trafficking.
I know that. Like, is that like fucking you're using your card in a weird place type shit, or?
Yeah, so basically, like I worked for this one bank out of California, and I had to like sign this disclosure that basically let me look at like back pages and like all these like sex trafficking sites like on company computers. Like I had to sign like all these like legal waivers, and like I was like one of three, and you had to like say I'm comfortable with like looking at this like material. And basically they would like ping like if they bought hotels, and then you would see that they would purchase like ads, like, and then like we would have to go on these websites to like verify that these ads were for either sex or what have you. And so then like we'd have to like try to put that together. But yeah, so banks have kind of caught up on it, and hotels now have like hotlines and are training staff on how to identify it within the hotels. Oh, did I lose you?
For this. This is technical difficulty that I'm probably not gonna fucking cut out of the fucking show because I'm lazy like that. Well, maybe not lazy, but yeah, lazy. And this is more about the fucking live stream than it is about the. There we go. All right, we're back. Yeah, so we're talking about fucking Jeffrey Epstein and human trafficking and the government being a bunch of fucking shitbags, and the internet fucking decides to fucking fuck out. Like, I'm not saying that's a conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen. The globalists are trying to silence us.
Yeah, no, that was really weird. But yeah, since then, yeah, like banks are now using software to like try to identify these patterns a little bit more, and there actually has been a little bit more awareness. They actually, in hotels now have been like training employees to like properly identify signs and report that.
How about now? I can't hear you if you can hear me.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know, dude. Talk about Epstein, man.
Fucking, I guess. I don't know what the fucking other explanation is. Fucking my internet's been fucking not a complete cunt fucking recently. So
yeah. Mine said was fully secured. I shut my phone off my Wi-Fi though, so maybe that'll help.
I mean, fucking, I don't know if that's your end, my end, the fucking end in the middle. Fucking,
it could be my end because it is raining and I have AT&T and the service is shit.
I mean,
usually
a little bit of that was mine because like after it was off for like a minute, I went and reset my router. So I mean, maybe, probably, maybe, but like it's still a little bit fucking weird. Fucking. I mean, yeah, we say it's weird, but like at the end of the day, like none of us actually know fucking anything about that more than fucking Facebook fucking knows. So,
yeah, it's like we weren't on that island.
I infiltrated that island. I had sex with teenage girls, but it was all in the name of investigative journalism. I was doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, he did infiltrate Bohemian Grove.
Yeah,
he was the first one to expose all that, and everybody thought he was crazy when he said that. And then you see Jimmy Carter and Reagan sacrificing to an owl god.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alex Jones for me kind of. Now, before I go into this, like, I don't like watch a lot of his shit, so I don't fucking know. But from what I've seen, kind of has the Nostradamus effect, where if you just say a bunch of shit, some of it's gonna happen.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that he like said all this crap and then like actually like went through the wood, like trekked like 12 miles through the woods and like recorded it. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Pretty baller fucking move.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about China then? I guess. I mean, maybe.
Yeah. The internet doesn't want us to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, so
no, not at all.
Or human trafficking or anything like that. So, I mean.
So yeah, China. It's fucked. China, yeah. So, yeah, they right now it just came out. They have 65 million abandoned homes. That is the entire population of France.
No, is that abandoned homes or is that like they build a new city hoping people are move in and they just don't?
Yeah, basically what's happened is all these property developers have built these. You know, they've basically had this whole, field of dreams idea. If you build it, they will come. That kind of thing. So. All these property developers are in debt. Evergrande's the first one. We saw Fantasia was another company. They're a lot smaller than Evergrande, but they're on the verge of collapse. The big though, here's the big issue, like behind the scenes, that's even bigger than this whole property market is the local governments over there. So all these like local Chinese politburos, they run their own like little states, and each of these states are engaged in economic affairs and stuff like that, and they prop up a lot of these buildings and their debts. They've taken on a lot of debt to like build the infrastructure to do these cities, and the central government hasn't. So it's like the opposite. Like our federal government has like a lot of debt, and I mean certain states have debt. Illinois, California,
right?
New Jersey, but like other states are in surpluses like Texas and what have you. So over there, like the federal government's actually pretty okay. They have reserves. They've done well for themselves, but basically what they've done is they passed that buck on to all these like local governments and these local entities and these regional banks, and so that debt there is worth $8.7 trillion, and they're on the verge of being wiped out. So you have a $5 trillion property market, and then you have an $8.7 trillion local government economic collapse. It'll be like a municipal bond crisis like the world has never seen before.
Yeah, no, and like to go into the history of it a little bit more, like not so much that with China in general, like they've throughout their history, like all these other like smaller countries will come together and beat China for a bit, and then it'll fall apart and be all fucking 12 other countries, and they'll come back and beat China and then fall apart and come back and go back apart. And I think one of their one of the central government's fears as to maintain a fucking government and all these people to pay him stay in power, but as a fucking people's is maintaining the one China thing, because there has been one China before and it fell apart, and then it was there again and it fell apart, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And I mean, and they're bullying the South China Sea right now. Look what they're doing in Hong Kong and all that.
One of the things with the fucking South China Sea with that is they've eaten all of their fish. They've fished literally all their fucking fish. And if not the Taiwan thing, World War III could also start off the coast of fucking South America, because they've sent a lot of just fishing ships down there to go get fucking fish, and places like Argentina has been like, this is our fishing area, fuck off. And it wasn't that long ago the last time a fucking Argentinian fucking Navy ship blasted a fucking Chinese fisherman fucking ship.
Oh, wow. But it's can Argentina really have the power or the wherewithal to really take down the Chinese Navy?
Well, the Chinese Navy now, I'm not sure what fucking Argentina's Navy's like, but China has a big army. It's not a good army, but it's a big fucking army, which accounts for a lot. But their Navy's fucking slowly lurching towards nothing to scoff at, but right now you can kind of scoff at it.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I've heard too.
Yeah. I think right now, if China and France had a naval war, it'd be safe to put money on France. But it's not going to stay that way.
Dude, France is so pissed. Did you hear about that new deal that Australia signed?
No.
Australia signed this huge armament deal, and I guess they were getting all their subs and stuff from France. Yeah. And a lot of their defense contracts comes from France. And Australia broke off and signed with the UK and the US to get BAE systems out of the UK, which is they're big. It's essentially their Boeing or whatever.
Well, I mean, that makes sense on a few levels. Because we have, us and England have better shit than fucking France does, but also us and England are more worried about China than France is. And then the other thing is, don't quote me on the number, but I think the Australian military has 100,000 more people in it than it did 10 years ago, because they're worried about China.
Mm-hmm.
Their worry about it is, I think, a lot more valid than ours is, because China can't invade us.
Yeah.
Australia, on the other hand, is right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And New Zealand, I know, has been very worried about China's encroachment as well. A lot of their diplomatic channels have stated that. So yeah, I could totally see China, trying to poke their chest, especially after this whole Afghanistan debacle. I mean, we've really kind of, you told me, when you told me when you were over there, that one guy said that, you have fancy watches, but we have time, and this is where empires come to die.
Yeah.
And we really showed that, our military, and again, it's not the military's fault. We should have never been there after bin Laden was dead. Why were we still there?
Because actual answer, because he was in Pakistan, and if we invaded Pakistan to get him, that would have been World War III.
Yeah. And lithium.
Yeah. Yeah, but hunting down fucking Al Qaeda in a nuclear armed invading a nuclear capable fucking country to get a terrorist group would have been fucking a bad day for everybody.
Yeah.
So, which didn't stop us from figuring out where he was, and then doing some mafia shit to get rid of him. And they're Pakistan's we're mad that you came here and did this. You should have told us he was there. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you gonna fucking do about it?
Yeah.
There's literally only one thing you can do, and if you do that, all of you are going to die. So don't press the red button.
His the president of Pakistan, he was just in the news. I don't know if you heard about that. It's kind of in my realm of work, so I know about it. But it's that whole. Have you heard about the Pandora Papers?
Heard about it. Don't know too much about it though.
Ooh, that one's good. You'll like this one. We'll veer off to Pakistan here in a minute, but King of Jordan, it's all that billions of dollars of aid to house all these Syrians and what have you. That man is now he now has a burgeoning $135 million real estate empire here in the United States. We're talking, brownstones in DC. We're talking homes on the beach in Malibu. He's living it up. But he said it didn't come from any of those $8. Did not come from any of the $8. Official statement. It's his money. We don't know where it came from, but it's his money, and it did not come from the $8. You can trust the Jordanian government.
So what's the speculation on where that did come from?
The $8 we send over there to house all the Syrians and Palestinians, refugees, and because they're the refugee hub. That's what Jordan, it's where they make their bread. That's their biggest economic source is refugee camps.
Huh. I didn't know that, but considering that Jordan's one of the least tumultuous over there, if not the,
yeah,
because I don't think they got hit with the whole Arab Spring thing, and then also
No.
they don't have an Al Qaeda problem.
No, and their king's actually King Abdullah's over there. He's actually pretty well liked amongst the people. He's actually well respected because he fights. I don't know if you remember when they burned that Jordanian air fighter alive in Iraq. He led airstrikes himself. Yeah,
and part of that has got to be propaganda, but at the same time it's the dude still had to get there for the fucking picture. So I mean, that's more than we fucking do.
He was in the jet. He was in the jet.
Could you imagine if during the invasion of Iraq it was all right, here's a picture of fucking George Bush and an F-18 fucking dropping a bomb on Saddam Hussein. It's well, I don't know what the fuck. Sure, I'll vote for you next time. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's literally happened with the Jordanian king. He was literally in the fighter jet shooting the missile.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm sure a lot of that has to do with, hey guys, don't depose me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the Pakistani guy, he's he has a bunch of offshore accounts for all his goon squad there in Islamabad.
Yeah.
So Nazir, or whatever his name is, President Nazir.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a reformist, moderate.
Yeah, but moderate Islam is still the bad kind of Baptist, trusted for fucking profit.
The Northern Baptist, John Rockefeller.
No, Westboro Baptist Church.
Ooh, yeah. That was so funny when they came here for the 2016 RNC convention, and they were getting them and Black Lives Matter got in a fight, and they were throwing bags of feces at one another.
I don't know how this didn't make the news, and I'm sure it probably did it on fucking some level. I just wasn't fucking paying attention, but I had a really good buddy that got killed in 2010. Went to his fucking funeral, and there was a lot of Westboro Baptist Church type fucking people there.
Really?
Biker gang showed up and fucking beat the living shit out of all of them.
Oh, I did. You were there. Wow. Because I've heard. I actually
sure it also happened more than once.
Yeah. Yeah. There is if the Hells Angels see that, and then the Westboro Baptist people.
Yeah.
They're the worst. Yeah. They started running up on there's a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest in the square, and they had the permits and everything, and these people literally defecated in bags and threw it at the Black Lives Matter protest, and I don't care, you can be peaceful and protest all you want, but you throwing a bag of shit at me, I'm gonna swing on you. I don't care. I mean, I can't blame Black Lives Matter for swinging.
Yeah, I don't care what side of the fucking argument you're on.
Yeah, I don't.
Fucking no. If we're gonna do some shit, we're gonna do some shit.
Yeah. It was either Black Lives Matter or Antifa. It was a left-wing organization than Westboro. But yeah, these Westboro people just defecated in bags and threw it at them. And it was
that's shitty.
I don't care if you support that political argument, but whoever's getting thrown shit on, they have every right to go swinging on them people. Yeah. I don't care who you are or what cause you're supporting. That's ridiculous. But yeah, that was Cleveland in 2016 during the RNC. I'm glad I didn't have to work downtown that week.
Yeah, dude, fucking like that's like one of those fucking things. Like, and it's not fair at the fuck all to compare Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and Westbrook.
Yeah. You should never lump them in the group. I was just telling the story because like it made
but it's shitty that they kind of do get lumped together sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, no, it is. It's ridiculous. You know, one's an actual.
I'm just saying, you know, at large, you know.
No, it is. I mean, because Westboro's, you know, they're dumb as hell, and then you got the Antifa, and they're dumb as hell, and you know, I understand where BLM's coming from. I mean, I get that.
A weird thing too, though, because like there's an organization, and then like there's the organization, but then there's also like the sentiment group, and the organization itself is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But the sentiment groups on the side are like, no, that's the way
it should be that way.
There was a thing, and this is years ago. This is probably fucking 2016 or fucking 17, where not Black Lives Matter, but like one of their like smaller fucking groups had this fucking thing, and it was like it was pretty much like just a big fucking like community barbecue, and you know it was like them, all the fucking residents, like all the cops showed up, and cops didn't show up with. I mean, they had their guns on their hips, but like you know, like playing volleyball and fucking like you know cooking with fucking people and shit. Like really like community fucking.
Yeah, we need that. We need that.
And like the actual fucking head shed at fucking the actual Black Lives Matter, like, yeah, that's not what we're about. And it's like, what the fuck do you mean that's not what you're about? Like that's
we gotta find common ground.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're gonna move forward.
Yeah, like there was a thing, I think this was 2 years ago now. No, it was after the George Floyd thing, so that was last year, I guess. But they were like,
that was the event though. That was the event where like everybody was like that was murder.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Like everybody then like everybody was like that George Floyd was like bullshit. Like period. Yeah, like everybody was like that cop needs to go.
Like I saw a small thing on the internet. Like, yeah, Black Lives Matter is bullshit, but the sentiment's good. So let's make it Black People Matter. And then like nobody gave a shit for that fucking hashtag at the fuck all. It was like whatever, dude. Also, speaking of that though, fucking you know that George Floyd is a sex move, right? Like you're banging a chick from behind and you put your foot on her neck.
Oh my god.
I was like, yeah, I saw that in the meme. I was like, yeah, been there.
Wow. But yeah, I mean, yeah, after that, I think that and that goes back to that whole like John Gruden thing. Like that was like that's where like the NFL, like they're not going to tolerate that. And then, like, if you notice, like the first article came out and it was like about DeMaurice Smith, who is African-American man. He played in the NFL. He is now the president of the NFL Players Association. And he called him like dumb Maurice, and then like said something about his lips that was, you know, had like a racial epithet or whatever. And like you could tell on Sunday that team gave up on him because like, dude, 75% of your locker room is black. You cannot talk like that. Like, like no locker room is going to respect you. And then like all these emails come out, like there is no way he was gonna like survive this. Like there was no way. He is done. Like he'll never coach again. Like they're not like, especially like I said, like after like the George Floyd stuff, because like the NFL, like after like all that stuff happened with George Floyd, the NFL actually has like is working on making steps, and that's why you've seen like them's like, hey, with Washington, like you guys need to change that name. Like that name's not. So like the NFL's made, and like look, this year for the halftime show, it's Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg performing the halftime show. Dude, like that would
good for them. Also, like on the rewind this, going back to fucking hip hop music, like yeah, I guess Snoop Dogg's like okay on his own, but like personally, I found that like Snoop Dogg's best on Dr. Dre tracks.
Oh yeah.
Like all the classic Snoop Dogg songs, like no, that's a Dr. Dre song Snoop Dogg's on.
I mean, the same thing could probably be said for Eminem. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, even if you get like fucking like Eminem's like greatest hits, like 3 of them are fucking Dre songs that he's just on.
Dude, what Dr. Dre, dude, what a life that dude's had. Like that dude has had a life. Like he was like in the 70s with like as like disco was transforming into like parts of disco was like transforming into hip hop with like a merger of soul. Like he was there, like he was with this group called the World Class Wrecking Crew, and like they were like one of the first ever like early hip hop. Like that dude's been there from like the rip, and like he leaves the World Class Wrecking Crew for NWA, and then like Death Row and like the stuff he does with Snoop Dogg and stuff he does with Tupac, and then like all that goes crazy, and like
he, like makes his own fucking like production fucking company and just fucking like owns the fucking shit.
Yeah, signs Eminem, breaks barriers with that, because the last like successful white rapper before Eminem was Vanilla Ice, and like before that,
Vanilla Ice successful. He had one song that we're still talking about,
Yeah,
and like most of the time it's a fucking joke. It's not like we're listening to him fucking driving down the street going, yeah, this guy.
Yeah. Or like House of Paint, or you know what I mean? So like it was like one of those things. Like he breaks barriers there, and then like the one day, like he, they come to him for like a sneaker deal, and he's like, I don't want to do a sneaker. Like I'm not an athlete. And then like Jimmy Iovine's like, man, we should probably do like a headphone deal, and like we'll do it. And it's like Beats, and then like Beats gets sold for $3.5 billion to Apple, and it's like you go straight from like 1978 with World Class Wrecking Crew, and you take that dude's like catalog and like all the trials and tribulations, and him and his wife divorcing, and like she tried to like extort him, and like all these his brother died, like all these like crazy things, man. Like that dude, like himself, like I know they did like the NWA biopic or biopic.
No, I didn't see that. Was it any good?
I haven't seen it honestly either. I need to get into those.
Well, I also got like burnt out on biopics because like it's like, all right, cool. Like the Freddie Mercury one was like okay, and it was like then the the Elton John one was fucking terrible. And it's like I don't need to watch any more of these, man. Fucking. I know enough about these fucking guys. I can use my fucking imagination.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you see Roger Waters got married for the 5th time this weekend?
Who?
Roger Waters, the bassist from Pink Floyd that like got kicked out and like sued the band. And,
no, I did not. But good for him.
Yeah, it's like so weird because like this dude's literally worth like $300 million. Like he owns like all rights to The Wall, and it's like one of the best selling albums of all time. So like, dude's set. But like he goes in and like he runs his own like Twitter and like Facebook. Like he doesn't hire a social media manager. Like it is literally him. And then like he just takes like the photo shoots. Like the photos were professionally done, but like he just like posts all these like photos and it's like, yeah, I did a thing this weekend. And it's like he's got the blue check mark, but like it's like not. It's just like, yeah, I did a thing this weekend.
Good for dude. Like I'm still surprised a lot of those dudes from the fucking 70s are still fucking alive. Like, how much drugs they did in the 70s and 80s. I don't care if they cleaned up after fucking 20 years, but like that was still 40 years ago when you cleaned up, man. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
doing?
Well, it's like Dead and Company. I went and saw them in Cincinnati, and like it was on the one drummer turned 78 that night.
Good for him.
And like the one guy's 77, the other guy's 75, and 78. And those are the 3 original members still. And there's another guy that's 80, but he doesn't tour with them anymore. So it's 3 original members: John Mayer, Jeff Chimity, who he was a keyboardist for Bob Weir, the other guitarist in Grateful Dead, not named Jerry Garcia. And so Bob Weir has done his like own solo act kind of at clubs around like the West Coast, and Jeff Chimity just has always played with him. So like he's the keyboardist, and then they got O'Teal Burridge from the Allman Brothers band. He was the bassist. And dude, they absolutely rock. I mean, absolutely brilliant.
Like at least with like John Mayer, like I don't like his music, but I do acknowledge that he's a fucking badass fucking 6-stringer.
Oh yeah,
like it just happens to be like, I'm sorry, man, I don't like your songs, but like, yeah, he's fucking great.
Well, the thing is with him is like, he acknowledges like he's a pop artist. He's like, I'm a pop, but like now he says now that he's with like Grateful Dead and like doing this whole Dead and Co, like this whole reunion, like going back out on the road. He's like, I feel like I found my place. Like he's kind of rejected that like early pop stuff, and now like he's just full on in with the blues and stuff. And this tour now he's got these big ass headphones he wears, and it's in tune with all the other band's instruments, because the thing that makes like Jerry Garcia one of the best guitarists of all time is Jerry can improvise better than anybody.
Which is one of the reasons why they were better live than in the studio. Like
exactly. They weren't a studio band.
Maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't, but like their studio stuff fucking sucks.
Oh, it's terrible.
But like their live shit, it's like, okay, you guys are in a groove.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. They were never a live band. Some of their remastered live work is actually decent. There's like a really good Terrapin Station.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's few and far between on their studio, and they admit to it. Like if you watch their documentary, they're like, we were never a studio band. We were always a live band, and that's how like the whole tape trading thing. Like they encouraged it. Like they were like, yeah, record it.
Yeah, we're not making any music on the fucking albums. Come see us live. Fucking, I don't care how it gets here. Fucking
yeah, and so but yeah, they've really killed it, man. Cincinnati was awesome. And like John Mayer was like, he was like really grooving.
It's like the exact opposite of Megadeth. Like fucking one of the greatest fucking heavy metal bands fucking ever. Fucking suck live.
Oh, do they?
Well, I mean, the music part's good, but like fucking Dave Mustaine doesn't know how to sing. So it's like,
yeah.
Shut up. Hire a singer, dude. Fuck.
Well, he can't play guitar anymore, so
he can still play guitar.
Oh, I thought he had some nerve damage.
Oh yeah, no. Fucking that's why Megadeth broke up in like 2000 or 2001. Fucking he had some weird thing where like his like I think his left arm just like died.
Yeah.
And then like it took him like 2 years, but he made like a fucking full recovery. And then
okay.
They came out fucking doing, which is kind of funny because the album before that was like more of a pop metal album, I guess. Like kind of like think of like the Black Album, like Metallica's Black Album, where you make like a complete different fucking change. And then it's like that bombed, his arm died. He's like, all right, let's go back to like making actual metal. Whenever I get my arm back, okay, we're good. And then like it's when I think of Megadeth, it's like a completely different fucking era. It's almost like, you know how like you listen to some people and it's like, all right, so them in the 80s were not the fucking same band in the fucking 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that, except for like equally as fucking awesome. The only, I guess, disadvantage that their post 2000 stuff has is people haven't been listening to it as long, so it's not quite as iconic, but it's not any less good.
Mm-hmm.
But
was it you that maybe shared the meme the other day, and it was like I don't know what the band was, but they opened for Metallica and they were like, yeah, we were just like chugging beers backstage, and like Metallica went on and like practiced for like 3 hours.
No.
Like it was like Metallica, yeah, like they practiced like 3-4 hours before like their show, like the day before they're getting ready to do their show, like for their sound checks.
Yeah.
Just to like make sure that they put a hell of a show.
Yeah, no, see, like I don't really like much Metallica after the middle of the Black Album, but like they have earned every fucking penny they have ever fucking got.
Yeah,
like just
hands down.
They're also the only band that's performed a concert on all 7 continents. Yeah. They had a thing like 10-15 years ago where like it was like a contest you got into, and I think it was like 1,500 people that they just like flew to Antarctica to have a fucking concert for. It's like, dude, that's fucking banging. Fuck it. Yeah, dude. Good for you.
Yeah, I wonder how James is doing, because like I know like they canceled the tour and he had to like get into rehab, and it was like kind of not. It seemed like he was doing fine for a lot of years. I know he had like problems and stuff, but I don't know.
I didn't pay too much attention to that. I don't know, but like he is one of the better front men, and I think a lot of that though is like if you pay attention to like what he was doing. I think in the late 80s through the 90s, he was really trying to emulate fucking Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah.
had the fucking chop, same mustache and hair and shit. And it's like, hey, what are you doing there? Those riffs kind of sound a little bit like, yeah, whatever, dude. Fucking rock on,
Yeah.
And then the other outlier is Garage Days. I don't care if you like new Metallica or old Metallica, but like everybody fucking likes Garage Days. Sorry, man. Fucking
yeah, it's a great album.
Metallica fucking doing fucking
covers.
Fucking love, yeah.
Yeah. No, Whiskey in the Jar, like that's such a great version of that song.
And fun fact for that, I had my Irish buddy on a little bit back. He lives in fucking Dublin. A big fucking Thin Lizzy fan. I was like, all right, so I'm gonna ask you some questions. Fucking this is a big song over here. What the fuck does this mean? So, like, in Whiskey in the Jar, whack for my daddy-o. Apparently that's Gaelic for have a drink for your granddad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old is like the original version of that song? Like
it's older than fucking they've been. It's old. It's old.
Yeah.
Like,
I heard it's
old.
I heard it's like even back in like the early like late 50s.
No. Like fucking that song itself is at least late 1700s.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
like a folk song, back then it was like, two chords and like a mandolin and some, but
yeah. No, that's awesome. Like, yeah. And so, but yeah, back to what I was going to say before, like we sidetracked to J.E. I won't say his full name because the global takes out, but about the whole going back to the kind of like Gruden stuff. So they were investigating Bruce Allen, and yeah, he was like, there was like weird stuff going on with the cheerleaders, and one of the emails was Bruce Allen was sending like topless photos of the cheerleaders to John Gruden's personal email. So Gruden, mind you, at the time, Gruden was on Monday Night Football as the color guy.
Yeah.
And like he was just saying like all this crazy, like just crazy stuff. And yeah, there's 655,000 emails they're like reviewing.
That's
over a 12-year period.
Was he just treating them like fucking text messages? Like we're half of them like, yeah,
that's
Paul.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what the old whites do? They like treat like email as like text message, and they just like shoot off whatever the fuck they like. It's like a top of mind. Like I don't know. Like I'm not an old white yet. I mean, I don't know. But like I mean, I wouldn't do that. There's no fucking way. And it was literally sent from Bruce.Allen at Washington.NFL.com. So like this is feeding into the NFL's .com server.
I guess they don't want us to talk. Wait, are we back? Are we back?
We are back. Yeah.
Okay. I guess they don't want us to talk about that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like it's crazy. And the NFL's chief attorney, Jeff Pash, I guess he was like leading he leads punishments for like a lot of these teams. And he has emails back with Bruce Allen letting him off the hook. And it's looking like this guy's going to have to resign now too, because they were saying some
fucked up shit.
Some really bad stuff. Yeah. Like, and they're probably, I could just see like in New York City, they're at Roger Goodell's office. Mr. Goodell, here's so far what we found in the emails. What do you want us to do with this Gruden email where he calls you the F word? Yeah, send that to the New York Times. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, let me know how that goes, buddy.
Yeah. They sent, and now it's like, but no one knows who's like leaking this information. Yeah. And now again, I believe like the majority of the players don't feel this way, in the NFL. I believe a lot of the coaching staffs around the NFL don't believe this way. But I'm sure John Gruden wasn't the only one. And I would really, and going back to Colin Kaepernick, I would really, really love to see if there's any in these 655,000 emails, if there's any pertaining to Colin Kaepernick and what that discussion is about, because I think that would open up some serious eyes.
Which also, though, like on the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, like you know the story behind why he was kneeling?
Wasn't it because of like the protest police brutality?
No, well, that's why he yes and no. So that was why he started sitting out the national anthem. He was like, fucking, this is bullshit, fucking blah blah, whatever. And he was just sitting on the bench for a long time for nobody gave a shit until he started kneeling. But the reason he started kneeling was because there was some Army Ranger that was like a big fan of his, and he like fucking got in contact with him somehow. I was like, hey, so you're one of my football heroes, like, why are you doing this? And Colin Kaepernick, like, I guess replied to him and fucking, told him, his reasons for it. And then this Army Ranger's like, well, instead of fucking sitting on the bench, you could take a knee. Like that would also do all your kind of shit. And, like also fucking like there is a respect for the, like nation thing. But at the same time, you're like,
I do remember that Army Ranger. Yes.
Yeah. So that was an actual fucking Army Ranger's fucking idea, not his originally, because he was just sitting it out.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing where it's like, oh my God, you're an anti-American, fuck you. It's like, well, yeah, that was an Army guy's idea. So
yeah.
Up.
And most veterans I know are like, I fought for your right to do that.
Yeah. Or, dude, I don't give a shit. Fucking you, man.
Like, if you and me were drinking at a bar.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's obviously fucking different. Like, yeah, fuck that guy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, if you and me, like, say you and me were drinking at a bar, you and me believe that everybody, if they wanted to, can burn a flag. Yeah. Now, if we saw a guy burn a flag in front of us, we'd probably whoop his ass. But, you know what I mean? He's probably going to get his ass kicked. But, like, do we feel that flag burning? You and me kind of have a libertarian bent, I feel. And do you and me believe that a person, if they want to burn a flag?
Yeah, no, so I'm going to think you're an idiot. Go for it.
Yeah.
But,
that's the thing. And it's just like, yeah. But, I really want to see, like, what comes out more of this email sketch, because there's a lot of controversy around it, a lot of conspiracy, because it's only targeted one person, and that one person just happens to call. Well, it's targeted one person so far, but it's sounding like this Jeff Bash he's going to have to resign.
Yeah.
But the first person was Gruden, and then Gruden, he's the one on the email, calling Roger what he called him.
Yeah.
And so, after you say that and it gets leaked, it's like, okay, he's gotten hit, But yeah, I'm hoping like people are like, this opens up some eyes for the NFL and they can kind of evolve a little bit more.
Right.
But then Washington, here's the worst part about it though. All this like controversy, and now Gruden was with the Las Vegas Raiders, so he's gone. Now, because this happened when he wasn't with the Raiders, but now that he's on the Raiders, they're like, yeah, you can't be leading a locker room where 75% are minority and you're disparaging them
right
blatantly in emails. And the first openly gay player in the NFL, Penn State's own Carl Nassib, he's on the Raiders now.
Oh, good for him.
So like he did this big thing last year of coming out for the first time, or it might have been this offseason, but in the last year and a half, he came out, and like it was huge because he was the first player to like admit to it, and like everybody embraced it because Carl's a good fucking player. Like that dude can ball. He played for the Browns for a while, and I was sad when they got rid of him because he's a great player.
Yeah. Well, also like Vegas was just trying to like buy everybody they fucking could to like make it the fucking Vegas team because you gotta come to Vegas, right?
Yeah. So. I'll tell you what though, Vegas's crowds are actually pretty pro Raiders. From what I've seen on the home game so far, like the Browns played out in LA against the Chargers, and since the Chargers moved from San Diego to LA, and you know how it is because you lived out there for a while. Yeah. People from San Diego fucking hate people from LA and vice versa. And so when the Chargers moved up to LA, everybody from San Diego was like, fuck the Chargers.
Yeah.
And basically, the Chargers have no fans, like none. Now, they're winning. They have a good quarterback. I think they'll start to get fans, and it seems like they're attracting more. But when they played the Browns, it was almost 50-50.
On a home game.
Yeah. Home game out in LA, there was half that stadium was Browns fans. Because the Browns are good again, and a lot of Browns fans are traveling. Plus, the Browns have the largest registered fan base in the world.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Browns backers worldwide, man.
Well, I guess if you're in Ohio, there's nothing else to fuck to do, so why not?
Yeah. And then, there's been this huge Ohio diaspora in the last 25 years of people leaving Northeast Ohio.
Well, I mean, they fucking shut down the steel mill, so, like, what the fuck else are you going to do there, Go work at Walmart? Like, no, dude. Like, that's like, there's a lot of reasons I fucking hate Ohio, but, like, fucking, like, one of the legitimate fucking criticism is like, yeah, no, you guys got rid of all the fucking like jobs, so like, why the fuck would anybody stay here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. Cleveland in 1950 was the 6th largest city in America.
Yeah.
Like,
and then up until the fucking like late 80s, early 90s, it was still one of the big fucking steel towns.
Yeah. Yeah, all that's wiped out. Now there is a mill. It's funny because when I started as a consultant.
Well, Timken is still in Akron, right?
Canton. Timken's out of Canton. Yeah, because Jane Timken, she's running for Senate for one of the Timken daughter William Timken or whatever, who founded the company.
For those of you listening at home that own a Timken, they built most of the stuff that's in your car.
Yeah, roller bearings, a lot of any like Toyota's like a huge contract for them. They do a lot of the steel for them. Ford's a big employer or a big customer of theirs. So yeah, they do roller bearings. So what Timken actually split into 2 companies. So so I think it was the California Teachers Pension or whatever. They were a large shareholder in Timken.
Yeah,
and Timken stock was really like laggard. So to unlock value, some activist investor partnered with the Teachers Pension, and they split the company into 2. So now there's Timken roller bearing and Timken steel. Well, right now steel's booming. For the first time in a long time, steel's booming. Actually, what I was going to say, there was a company here in Cleveland that does like a lot of ore and shipping and stuff on the lakes, and they do a lot of mining and what have you, and they're called Cleveland Cliffs. They've been around since like 1850. I mean, they are a huge company here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
They so they were having a really tough time financially back in like 2014. And when I first moved to Cleveland, I was they had their office at 200 Public Square downtown, and they were struggling. My company at the time needed room to expand. They swooped up one of their floors on a sublease because they were like struggling financially, money wise. So I don't know what's happening, what they did to turn around their company, but they got in a financial position. They bought 2 companies, and one of them happens to be ArcelorMittal's specialized steel products. So that huge, the last big plant in Cleveland, it used to be the former LTV steel site, that went under in 2001. Cleveland Cliffs now owns that, and they got that mill cranking. But they bought right at the right time. They bought right when the steel prices were low. And now it's like through the roof, and they're crushing it. It's like one of the best turnaround stories in you hear in Cleveland, because there's a lot of companies that were, a lot of companies don't make it out of Cleveland or haven't survived in Cleveland, and they were able to, even when they were struggling, find some way to turn it around. And now they just bought the largest steel mill left in Ohio, and
Well, and it's weird because like Ohio is one of those places where like on one hand you get like your fucking John Glenn's and your Chuck Yeagers and your like all American fucking heroes, but the rest of the state is like that kid you knew in high school that was going to be a rapper but like didn't leave Massillon.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a lot. I mean, you see, I mean, yes and no. I mean, when I'm, moving to Cleveland's really opened my eyes. I mean, I mean, Cleveland, obviously it's the poorest city in America. There's a lot of issues. It is a tale of two cities. You do have extreme poverty. But you do see a lot of diversity. You do get to meet a lot of people from with different backgrounds, and there's a lot of talented people in the cities. And I mean, if you go down to Columbus, I mean, that is a boom town.
Dude, Columbus is its own fucking like animal. Like I've hit that
it is
a few times, and like there's a lot of negative shit I will say about Ohio. It doesn't apply to Columbus. Like it's that place is a fucking city. That place is a fucking good place to fucking be at, both for like the fucking like educational fucking shit you can do there, the fucking like economic shit you can do there, plus the fucking like nightlife. It's just fucking like I hate to give praise to anything in Ohio, but like Columbus is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no, Columbus is
9 out of 10 because like weather's the thing. But
no, Columbus is. I mean, it's just a massive. They're now in like 4 counties. It's like 4 counties big now. I mean, it's like Columbus is eating literally all of Ohio. Like one day, all of Ohio will just be Columbus. That's like the running joke because they just keep buying up farmland or annexing farmland into it. I was down in Cincinnati for, like I said, that Dead & Co concert, and like Cincinnati was like a real nice town. It was clean and that, but like I mean, I was in downtown. I heard Over the Rhine was more of like the neighborhood to like go hang out at if you wanted like good nightlife. But I'll tell you what, I was in downtown Cincinnati and it sucked. There, like all the food places were closed by like 10.
Oh, that's
now I know there's a lot of places are dealing with staffing issues and stuff like that. So it could have been a lot of that.
I don't judge fucking anybody right now for what they're doing right now just because of like COVID,
Yeah, I'm trying to survive.
All my judgments are 3 years plus old,
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy though. Like, but I even with like COVID going on, I still feel like it's 11 o'clock right now. And I feel like I could go out and get food if I needed to.
Yeah.
Like in Cleveland. And maybe it's just because I know
where it's at.
And I'm a local and I know like where to go to get that. But like even in downtown, like it's pretty obvious to go. Like if you're anywhere around the stadium downtown in Cleveland, like there's bars. Now a bunch of them have closed, since COVID. So it's even fewer and far between because like Winking Lizard shut down. And
one of the things I loved about fucking Columbus when I was down there was like when did the bars close down there? 2 or 3?
3. Oh, 2:30.
2:30. Yeah, but like all the food places closed at 4.
Yeah.
So you stumble drunk out of a fucking bar and it's like, I don't want to go home. Well, go get pizza or a hamburger or fucking like spaghetti or lasagna or whatever. Like it's still open. Like,
yeah,
when you're fucking down. Like, granted, you're not gonna be able to drink there, but go get a Coke, a fucking slice.
Sober up
a little bit.
Yeah, take your time, eat, get some food, get some caffeine in you. Wait an hour and a half, sober up, go home.
Yeah.
It's great. And I mean, with Columbus, like when I was down there, because they were doing a bunch of work on our condo. When I was down there, we stayed down there while they were doing the work. I was in the Italian Village, Short North area, it's called, and it was awesome. Like we could walk everywhere, and it was so much fun. So great restaurants, great food. Like really like Columbus. Cincinnati, I was not feeling though.
No, just not none of the love.
No, I mean the concert was great, and I did like the venue we were at because it was like right on the river, and you could see like the coal boats like going along the Ohio while you're like listening to some like great classic rock and roll, But
yeah, no, and like, dude, like cities are like a weird thing too because like they're fucking like here and there with their shit, and where they historically fucking popped up, especially in America because New World fucking fucking social fucking phenomena as they fucking are. And I'm more familiar with West Coast cities, even though I grew up on the East Coast. But I spent my 20s when I had a car, in West Coast. But it's over there you got fucking San Diego, LA, Vegas, and Phoenix.
Yeah. If you really wanted to venture further north, the Bay.
Yeah. I kind of hate San Francisco.
Okay.
I've been there a few times. And their climate's weird. And I forget this every time I fucking went there, but it'd be all right, so I'm going up to fucking San Francisco for a week. It's July or August, so I need to bring t-shirts and shorts. I get up there, it's 50 fucking degrees. It's okay, so I got to go to the mall and buy pants, and a fucking hoodie because God hates this place.
Well, it was so funny when I was working, and you hung out with me when I was in SoCal in Orange County, which I'm forever grateful because that job out there sucked. One of the times I was trying to fly back home to see Ariane, I was to fly into in the early morning into San Francisco, and I just remember going up to the flight attendant or whoever you check in. It's hey, I'm here to check in. And this guy, he's you're checking in, your first flight is into San Francisco? And I'm yeah. And this is at John Wayne. So I'm at John Wayne. And he's your first flight is into San Francisco? I'm yeah. And he's oh, sweetheart, you don't want to go there. And he's the fog is going to be unbelievable. You're going to get your flight delayed. It's going to cause you nothing but headaches. Let me get you on a flight to Houston. So this guy literally, because before that California job, I've never flown on a plane.
Really?
So I never flown on a plane, never did nothing like that. My
you been
dad.
out of the country?
I've been to Canada.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, there's some places you need to go.
Oh, I know. I wanted to start now that I had finally had money to start traveling internationally. COVID. Yeah. I was going to go to the UK and Ireland. COVID,
Yeah.
But no, it's one of those things. I do want to travel a lot internationally and stuff. I want to see Europe for sure. And so I never flown on a plane before. And before that, so I'm a fucking idiot. This guy, he didn't have to do that. He fucking hooked me up, got me home. Forever, I don't even know that guy's name, but I'm forever grateful for him because here I am, fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Walking in, I'm going to fly into San Francisco, fly into Minnesota, and then fly home. And then he's no, you probably don't want to do that because you will be stuck here. And so he's and so if you're, I guess this is common or good knowledge to know anybody that's wanting to fly into the Bay Area. It's best to do it after 1:30 Pacific time. So 4:30 Eastern. Anything after 4:30 Eastern, supposedly the fog's cleared up. You're good to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that, I think we're at about our time limit, so I'll let you go on here anyway. We can talk a little bit afterwards. But do you have any final words for the people listening?
Yeah, I would just say study. Try to learn some things about cryptocurrency. I'm not a financial advisor, so but don't bet the farm, but study it because I think there's a big revolution. Web3, and think of it as Web 3.0, and it's coming to really take out Web 2.0. And there's going to be a lot of intrinsic value. It's going to open up a lot of markets. Pay attention to what's going on in China. And then just try to be 1% better each day. If you do that, you're going to be in a good shape as a person.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good night.